So a couple of you guys have asked about this book that Lily and I are going through, so I want to make a quick video because it'll be easier just to show you what it is, because I really I believe in this, not the material, of course, but the author is phenomenal. So she's going through, hold on, let me grab her stuff, Cold Case Christianity for Kids. Hopefully that's not backwards for you. If it is, oh well. Cold Case Christianity for Kids. There's a set of 3 now. It's written by a guy named J. Warner Wallace, who wrote the adult versions. There's one more called Forensic Faith. I don't have a hard copy of that book. So he wrote those versions first. The quick intro is J. Warner Wallace is a real live cold case homicide detective. He is retired now, but he spent just about 30 years as a police officer in the Los Angeles area. He spent the first 30 years of his life as an atheist, a somewhat hard-nosed atheist, from what he says. He ended up becoming a Christian by essentially, he almost walks you through his process in Cold Case Christianity, was his first book, by essentially taking the gospel documents and researching them like a cold case homicide detective would, because of all the skills that he happens to have. Researching cold cases where everybody is either dead or gone, that are a part of cases, but how can we look over documents and information and decide whether the evidence is true or not? So for adults, I highly recommend Cold Case Christianity, God's Crime Scene, and Forensic Faith. After he got through with those books, he wanted to make this stuff available for children. And these books are great. The adult versions are super approachable. They will teach you not only about Christianity, but get you started on how to appropriately defend Christianity and the truth of the Christian worldview. So for Cold Case Christianity for Kids, I have a couple of different suggestions. I got this before the electronic version, but you can get it on the Kindle. There a lot of times, if you keep your eye out, the Kindle versions will be available for $1.99 or $2.99 from time to time. But I'm going to make a suggestion. It's only like $10 for these books. Buy your children the hard copy. Buy yourself the electronic copy. And here's why. Because as you read this through with them, you're going to get a few things. And my daughter is 7 that I'm going through it with. And she's a reader and a writer. She does really good reading and writing. But there still are some big words. And I appreciate that about this book. So her and I read it together. I can sit there with my Kindle and read along with her. She can read it out loud to me, or if she has a question, she can ask me. But she can highlight and write in her book. I'm a big highlighter, a big highlighting and writing fan. So she highlights something when it turns out to be the answer. So the chapters are broken down into ideas or thought process. J. Warner Wallace kind of calls them tools for your tool bag, your detective bag. So here are some of the things I really like about this. Is we're going through it one chapter at a time. This book, it turned out to be great. Again, I love the author. I happen to have a signed copy. And I love his work. I've had the honor and pleasure to meet him a few times. But these turned out to be way better than I thought it was, because it has not forced me, because I do this anyway, but it has given me a good opportunity to spend time with my daughter. We just sit and we do this together. She looks forward to it. I look forward to it. It opens up conversations, and I didn't expect that. And it's been really great. See, I'm getting all choked up. So first of all, it will cause you to sit down with your children and discuss the thing that is the most important to you, which is your relationship with God and the truth of the Christian worldview. Second, it's pushed her to think. Now, if you have a 10 or 11-year-old, still great for them. You might not have to sit there and read along with them, because they should be able to get some of these concepts. Lily is in 2nd grade, so some of the thought processes I have to help walk her through, because it's not like a typical 1st or 2nd grade book where the answer is, it's written down in there, but you kind of got to go find it. So it's teaching her study skills because chapters build on each other, and you need to remember what happened in the last chapter. It's teaching her how to think a little bit outside of the box because you'll be asked questions that the answer is not necessarily right there. You have to think about the process and try to figure it out. In each chapter, let me see if I can find one real quick. He has what's called a little CSI assignment. So there's little CSI assignments, and these, in my words, this is not his words, but in my words, they're kind of like little mini Bible studies. And man, you can get as deep or as basic as you want on this, dependent on your child and I guess how old they are. I spent a lot of time. It involves essentially a Bible verse and questions about that verse and learning about it. I spent a lot of time in this area because Lily really likes it and she wants to know about the scriptures and she wants to know about this. So we spent a lot of time doing that. You're also going to get a cadet, what do we call it here? Just a cadet notebook, and he'll go through this. There's a website. When you buy the book, you go to the website. Each chapter has like a little 4 to 7 minute video. Watch it before you read the chapter or go through the chapter. And then it has downloads and printouts for you. Each chapter has a parent guide. So these are great. This is stuff you should know or should be able to help them with. And then there's like a little assignment sheet. So as they read through the chapter, or if they're older, maybe afterwards. But as we read through the chapter, she's looking for these answers and writing them down as we go and referring back to them. And then there's a little activity for every chapter. At the very end, there is a certificate you can print out. Lily's super excited about the certificate. So there's little notes you can take, activities, and I just printed them all out at the beginning because it was easier. So I just went to all the chapters. I think there's 9 or 10 chapters in the first book. Print them out so they're all right there. Put them in their little cadet notebook. And then they'll have it for when you start going through God's crime scene and forensic faith. So that's what we do. I hope this has maybe answered some questions for you if you want to go through it with your kids. Again, I believe in this author a lot. He has a really excellent way of wording things, and he uses really cool stories and his experience as a police officer to help you understand real life scriptural issues. And for kids, man, he's made it exciting to essentially, as you're learning about scripture, you're also solving a crime. In Cold Case Christianity, it's about a skateboard. So Lily's been really excited to sit down and go through it. It's given me an opportunity to sit down with her and discuss all this stuff, to open our Bibles together, to learn about how to defend the truth of the Christian worldview. And I think that it's probably appropriate for 5 might be a little bit young, but an advanced 6-year-old, 7-year-old for sure, 7 to 12 or 13, 12 or 13-year-olds need to be moving up to the adult versions right there. Because the adult versions are very understandable also, which is one of the things that's great about this author. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment or PM me. But you can find these books at Amazon. I think his website, Cold Case Christianity, points you, I believe that it points you to Amazon also. But his website is coldcasechristianity.com. And or you can just go to Amazon. Cold Case Christianity for kids, God's crime scene for kids, forensic faith for kids. That's what we do. And hopefully that'll help you decide whether this is right for your kids. It is right for you and your kids and your whole family. I think that it's going to be a huge blessing for you.